What is up? What is up? What is up? It is Friday night at 5 o'clock. This is Orion Jones, your host, just having some technical difficulties there, trying to jump on. I'm jumping on YouTube Live for the first time. So, that's exciting, trying to get down my technological skills. So, I got Facebook Live on one phone, I got YouTube Live on the other, and then I got voice, and then I got ears out there on the radio stations. Hopefully you guys are tuned in here to 88.3 WLFC. This is Orion Jones, and we're at the top of the hour right now. North Baltimore, Findlay, Ohio is our outreach here with our radio towers. And like I said, giving a shout out to Facebook Live, giving a shout out to YouTube. Okay, close. Yeah. So we got to get some housekeeping out of the way first. Like I said, you're listening to 88.3 WLFC, the Pulse, North Baltimore, Findlay, Ohio. And just real quick, we got a nonprofit shout out to the YMCA, where their mission is to change lives for the better through building of healthy spirits, mind, and body for all. Volunteer opportunities is give to your local Y to help family and kids who need it most. You can visit them at www.findlaymca.org. That's www.findlaymca.org. So, like I said, Orion Jones here, flying solo tonight. Miss Buena is not feeling well, so she's going to take the night off here. But that's all right. It gives me a chance to be able to run this solo show here and connect with you guys out there in Radio Land and YouTube Land and Facebook Land. And yeah, I'm going to be just bouncing around and hopefully connecting with everyone out there. Just trying to spread the message of True North motivation. And that's the company that I started, and it's the base premise of forgiveness, gratitude, love, and faith, becoming the best version of yourself through those four pillars. And it's a message for men. It's for everyone. So my target market is definitely men, to be able to try to create the best version of ourselves. There seems to be a gap in communication, lines of communication, of resources, of what men, especially my age, are struggling with these days. And the CDC stat of in 2022, 80% of completed suicides were done by men. 80% of completed suicides were done by men. That's a heavy stat right there. And I was almost a victim of that stat at about that same time. So I almost was one of that same those same numbers right there. I hit a tough patch, and for those of you that don't know, I'm going to do just a quick overlay recap. I won't spend a lot of time in going back down the rabbit hole, but my name is Orion Jones. I am the founder and CEO of True North Motivation. I'm a doctoral student here at the University of Findlay, getting my EDD degree in leadership, and I'm studying depression I'm also a Cowlitz tribal member, so it's specifically depression in Cowlitz tribal men, but as an overall arching premise, I'm studying depression in men. And I was a victim of that. I guess you could say victim is the right word. I don't know if victim is, it doesn't feel right, but I've experienced a bout of that myself, where I thought I was untouchable. I lived a great Facebook life, as you on Facebook are tuning in, where I look great on paper. And, I had a great job, great family, everything that you would think, but I was shallow. And at the end of the day, my life was shallow. And when my life fell apart and I hit the skids and I hit rock bottom a few years back, I almost took my own life. And I wouldn't have ever thought it. And people who knew me would have always seen me as the fun, outgoing, lucky, slap on the back party, drinking, partying, having a great time, laughing. Like I said, you jump on my Facebook page, you're going to see vacations and laughter and all the things that you would think that made life happy. But when I looked in the mirror, I didn't like myself. And I think that's so many men out there that we suffer in silence, and thinking that we have to put up a front, and thinking that we have to be a certain way and that we have to act a certain way and do certain things to be accepted. And guilty is charged, and I definitely thought that I had to be a certain way and act a certain way and do certain things. And this stems back to, high school, and when I was like 15, 16, everybody wants to fit in. And I was no different. I wanted to fit in and I wanted to be cool and I wanted people to like me. And at the end of the day, from a psychology standpoint, it stems from what I learned was a low self-esteem. And I thought that, that wasn't going to happen to me. And I presented this ego and this front to the world that I was untouchable, that, I'm a 6'2", 220-pound male athlete, that kind of had the world at my fingertips, as others would think. And I would looked at others in jealousy, and that, they had the world at their fingertips, and how good my life was from outside looking in. And it is, and it was. I'm the first to admit, so many other people struggle and have things so much worse. And um, my gosh, what some people are just hand to mouth when it comes to trying to eat and survive and keep a roof over their head. And so, I mean, by no means am I having a boo-hoo, poor me sob story. It is not that at all. And I always say this same thing, that, what happened to me and my trials and tribulations are no better, no worse than anyone else's out there. They're just mine, and they're just what I went through. And my experiences, and what God put me through and why he put me through it was to build the best version of who I am today and my purpose in life. And that's to help others, and that's to help other people in general, and more specifically to help men, because there is an epidemic, and it is a silent epidemic. As like I said, 80% of completed suicides were done by men in 2022. And only 15% of us seek professional help for mental health care. And that male masculinity, that stoicism, that ignorance, that meathead muscle, that we have, that doesn't want to ask for help, is abundant and doesn't want to show weakness. And so I really have dedicated my life, from after looking down the wrong end of a shotgun a few years back and trying to figure out a reason not to, and to sitting here today as the best version of myself, and on a pathway of my true calling and finding my purpose and finding my why in my life. And that is the gift that God gave me. And I say that with the disclaimer and the understanding that I come from basically an atheist background of 46 years. I wasn't against God. I wasn't like promoting against him with signs on the street corner by any means, but I just was not a believer. I was not, I always said that I'm sure Jesus was real. I'm sure he was a good dude, but that doesn't mean that, I've got to do these certain things or go to church on Sunday or do tithe, whatever you want to call it. I just wasn't connected from a religious aspect. And, I come from a Native American background. It wasn't a deeply rooted background. I didn't get raised in a tribal environment, but my family was always connected with the Cowlitz tribe, and I always had that spirituality, for lack of a better term, of kind of connection to Mother Earth and oneness. And I always said, we're all just connected, and when I die, I'm going to become worm dirt, and I'm going to become the grass, and the antelope are going to eat me, and the Lion King story. And so that was kind of my spirituality, where I've been connected with Mother Earth and felt that exterior connection, and that was my religion, for lack of a better word. And when I went through the toughest time in my life, as we all go through hard times and trials and tribulations, and that came knocking on my door, and I was left. And I'm not going to get into the details of the story, but like I said, we all hit hard times, and my life fell apart from what I thought it was. And like I said, it took me to a point of almost taking my own life. And I'm a father of two beautiful 11-year-old twin girls. I'm so blessed, and I was not living the best version of myself. Again, from an outsider point of view, I mean, I had a great job, 6 figures. I was running a multi-million-dollar operation. Everything looked great on paper, but at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I wasn't content. I always felt like there was more, and God knew he had to break me to build me back up. And the reason why that he made me, and not made me, but why I had the life of basically an atheist growing up, was to be able to connect with others out there right now, today, and have the conversation about God, about Jesus, about your spirituality, and about what you're connected with, and not be this over the top person. Because if you would have came at me at any time during my up until 46, and it was the person that knocked on your door and says, do you believe in Jesus? And you say, not really. And they say, well, then you're gonna go to hell. And you go, well, okay, that doesn't work with me. I'm not going to believe in a God or a higher power greater than myself out of fear. And it didn't play with me, and it didn't resonate with me, and it didn't resonate to my soul. And I didn't believe, and that's the bottom line. And I always said the same thing whenever somebody said, well, you're gonna burn in the fiery pits. And I'd go, well, that's where all my friends are going to be. And if I can only have to believe in this entity to not go to say I'm guaranteed to go to heaven, then that doesn't make any sense to me. And going through what I went through, I love this line. I've got a bunch of sayings, but this is one of my favorite sayings, is where other people put a period in my life, God put a comma. And what he did was he broke me, and he broke me down, and he took me down to where I didn't have anywhere else to turn until I embraced him and I embraced Christ into my life. And I brought that acceptance of Jesus, of God into my life through my trials and tribulations, and then started building me back up into who I am sitting here today. And today, I'm getting my doctorate degree. I started this business, which is my calling, to be able to help other men out there overcome depression, low self-esteem, those hidden demons, the voices in your head, the things that we all go through that we don't admit, and the voices, the quiet times when, before you're going to sleep at night, when you're running through your day and you think about, all the things that's wrong with you, and no one else knows about it. And that's the struggles that so many of us go through. And again, I never paint a broad brushstroke and say everyone feels this way and everyone is this way, because of course not. And if you do feel this way, and if you don't feel this way, good. If you do feel this way, I get it. I get it. And I've been there, and I learned how to overcome these demons. That doesn't mean they ever go away. That is something that I'm reminded of quite often, is that I'm the happiest I've ever been. I have absolutely found joy in my life. I'm sober. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't, no tobacco. What I watch, just everything, the pornography, all of those things are out of my life. I even work really hard to not swear, which from this guy right here with two thumbs, if you're looking online, I'm wearing a green True North Motivation shirt, two thumbs and a green True North Motivation shirt. Not swearing in my life is a very, very difficult thing. It takes a conscious effort. It's doable, but it takes effort, just like everything. So bottom line is that I'm the best version that I've ever been in my life because of what I went through. And I had the strongest relationship with my higher power in my life because of what I went through. And I'm focused on helping others in my life, again, because of what I went through. And that's where my philosophy of things in life happen for you, not to you, which is one of the hardest things to wrap your head around. And especially when you're going through the storm, is to say, oh no, God is great. This is happening for me. I'm getting kicked while I'm down because this is for me. But if you can look back on your life and where you're sitting at right now, everything that's happened to you prior has brought you to who you are today. And if you don't like the way you are today and you don't like yourself, let's work on changing that. But if you're like, yeah, no, I saw why that happened. I understand why that job loss happened, or that divorce happened, or that whatever that is. I understand why that happened, because if that door wouldn't have closed, I wouldn't be sitting here today. And I love that Steve Harvey said, if God was through with you, he wouldn't have woke you up this morning. And that's 100% true. Is that when you're done, you're done. And when it's your time, it's your time. There ain't no stopping it. I've listened to over 500 near-death experiences. And that's also how I connected with, and I found my spirituality. Is that, again, I come from a non-religious background. And when I was searching and seeking for my connection, which I always, inside of me, I always wanted, as I know that all of us do as human beings, we have this, there's no way that death is the end. There's no way that I just close my eyes and take a dirt nap and I'm done. No way. There's too much, and energy can never be created or destroyed. And there's always that yearning inside our souls and inside of us to find that, to grasp onto that. And we know it exists, but we're not allowed to know. The veil has been dropped down, and that's why this experience is incredible, and it's also so hard. But when you listen to 500 near-death experiences, you really start. Let me put it this way: 500 out of 500, the number one thing that all of them say, from the atheist neuroscientist to the Catholic nun and the other 498 in between, every single one of them says God is light, God is love, God is energy. There's energy. Energy can never be created or destroyed, and that energy of love is the most incredible thing that you could ever experience. And you feel like you're home. This is not your home. Again, out of 500, 495 of them said that I was more alive after I died than I've ever been alive during this time. This world feels like a dream, and the other side feels real because you've been there for eternity. Because that's where you come from. There is reincarnation. There is, when you jump, there is life after death. Absolutely 100%. You cannot tell me that 500 out of 500 people whose lives, heart ended, brain stopped, an atheist neuroscientist, that died for 20 minutes, Eben Alexander, look him up, Dr. Eben Alexander, one of the most studied neuroscientists, studied near-death cases in the world, if not the most, as they wrote papers and medical journals off of his experience. And at the end of the day, the number one thing, regardless of how different other things are, the number one thing is that there is life after this. There is existence after this. We are energy and we are consciousness. And we come from one source, and we're all connected. And it doesn't matter if you went to church every Sunday, or what, if you're Hindu, or if you're Muslim, or if you're Buddha, or if you're, whatever you connect with your higher power, that makes you connected with the other side, that's your spiritual connection. That's your love. And if you take that and you treat others right, and you live your life well, and you're honest and you're trustworthy, and you have a connection with God, and that whatever that entity is to you, then that's what our Father wants. That's what God and Source wants, is he wants us to have love in our heart, to have a connection with him. And is one book right and one book wrong? That's not for me to decide. I know what I connect with, and I know what my relationship that I've built with God and what my relationship I've built with Christ is. But I'm also built to be able to question things, and I'm built the way that I'm put together, and my background is, and why I wasn't, I don't have a religious background. And so that allows me at 48 now to be able to look at all aspects of religion. And when I went on my religious spiritual journey, I went and I was like, I'm going to find my connection. And I didn't have this, it has to be in Catholicism, or it has to be in Judaism, it has to be as a Catholic, or as a Hindu, as a Muslim. It doesn't. No, I'm going to go search for knowledge. I'm going to go seek knowledge. And that's what I did. And that's what 500 near-death experiences provided me, was this overarching knowledge. And yes, Jesus is on the other side. He is real. He was one of a higher power and divinity. He absolutely is an unbelievable, loving deity, Son of God, a way higher power. Here's the thing, though, is that just like he preached, so are you, and so am I. Not in an egotistical way, but we're no different than the drops in the ocean and the ocean itself. We are a oneness with our Father, and he loves you just as much as he loves me. There's no difference. And again, that's what all of them said, is the volume of love that they felt when they crossed over from our Father and our Creator is incredible. Like there's no words behind it. Mothers that crossed over said, I thought that I loved my babies more than I could ever possibly imagine, and then I felt the love from my Source, my Creator, and I was like, that's what pure unconditional love feels like. And it's the number one power in the universe. And it's the number one thing that built the universe. Everything is built off of love. Everything else is, is basically human emotions when it comes to anger, fear, worry, all those different aspects of human emotions. That's the dualism, the duality of the world of light and dark, and you wouldn't know what hot was if you didn't know what cold was type concept. And and that's what we're here to do during this experience, is learn. And the reason why, two things, two reasons for: number one, we have free will, because that free will allows us to make the choices that we make in the search for a connection with our Father. And when we choose to be connected with Him, um, that the celebration that He has is like, yes, woo! Like he's just like, yes, you figured it out. You figured out that you didn't have to go anywhere to be loved. And that incredible premise of understanding that you yourself came to that conclusion, not because you're forced to, not because out of fear, not because, oh, you're going to burn in the fiery pits of he double hockey sticks if you don't do this, and you don't not work on Sundays, or not eat meat on this day, or not do this, or pray 7 times a day, or all these different rules and regulations and all these other things. It's just made up. That's the human aspect of things. The real connection that you have with your creator is that love connection, is that you are part of God. You are an entity of God. You are a spirit of God. And you have that power within you. And that's where free will comes in. And that's why we're getting back to my 2 points of that power that's within you, of free will. When you come back to God, you choose to, out of your own free will. That's incredible. And then the fact and the understanding that you are connected, and that you're not less than. You don't have to grovel. You don't have to hope that you're accepted or loved. You don't have to think that you're not good enough. Actually, the more that you love yourself and know how incredible you are, and know how that you are a child of God, and that Jesus and God live within you, and that God is you and you are Him, because there's no difference in the drops in the ocean. We are all connected. And when you learn that, and you learn to love yourself, and you learn to embrace yourself of who you are and your purpose and your gifts, again, the big man upstairs is like, yes, keep figuring it out. Keep learning. Keep figuring this out, because it is incredible to become enlightened. And it's incredible to find this connection in your life. And until you do, you have not fully experienced what life has to offer you. And I didn't know it. I thought that, again, I was having fun and making jokes, and I thought that was what life was all about. And what I learned after, like I said, the rug got pulled out from under me, is I learned that I was shallow. I learned that my soul was shallow. I learned that I had a shallow existence, and that it wasn't real. It was fake. It wasn't who I was. And for the first time in my life, it took me 46 years, because this happened a few years ago, and it's been a few years of learning, but to truly learn, who am I? And when you look in the mirror, and I call it the accountability mirror, and when you hit rock bottom, and you have to look in that mirror, if you truly want to figure out who you are and what you can do to come out of it and become better, then you have to look in that mirror and ask yourself those tough questions, and ask yourself, what are you doing? What's going on with you? What choices you make, and how you live in your life? How are you treating people? Are you honest? Are you trustworthy? Are you faithful? How are you treating your body? What choices are you making? How are you treating your family? What type of husband are you? What type of partner are you? What type of father are you? What type of employee are you? Are you chasing your dreams? And boy, when you start asking yourself these questions, I'm telling you, you start peeling back those layers of the onion, and you start truly being honest with yourself and asking yourself questions such as this. This is your coming to Jesus spirituality and our connection with God and our connection with your Christ. Because don't let my words, and I don't want to influence anybody on what to believe. I want to influence everyone on the closer in alignment that you walk with the teachings of Christ and the teachings of God, and and basically the overall arching premise of most religions of be a good person, treat others right, treat your neighbor right, don't cast stones, don't don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't rob. Those are pretty basic things to live by. That's an overarching message, and the intricacies of all the individual religions and this I'm right and you're wrong and you're going to burn in hell and no you're going to burn in hell, no my God wants me to win this war, my God wants me to do this, your God is wrong, my God is right, your God is wrong. That's just stupid to me. I mean, you're going to have a billion Muslims screaming at a billion Christians telling you you're wrong, and you're going to have a billion Jews screaming at a billion Catholics telling you you're wrong. And there's no way that God at the end of the day is going to have. Well, I love the South Park episode, and I'm not a huge South Park fan. I don't watch it all the time, but there was one episode when I think it was Armageddon, and I just saw the highlights of this, and they're all standing outside of the pearly gates, and Saint Peter holds up the clipboard, and he's like, and the winner of the get into heaven religion is the Mormons. And Kyle's like, oh son of a, and oh I was wrong. And you know Trey and Matt Parker have such a way of capturing exactly like what's funny and ironic about it is you're going to have 8 billion people standing outside the pearly gates, and God and Christ are going to go, oh, sorry, only 1 billion people get in. You other 7 billion, oh, here's the lever. You all guessed wrong. Regardless of how you were raised, you didn't control how, what culture you got brought up in, what the tribes in the Amazon forest never heard of God. That you were raised in the Middle East. You can't help that you're Muslim. You were raised in Israel and you're Jewish. I mean, you were raised. My cousins have 14 kids. None of them adopted. None of them twins. My Aunt Margie. I have 14 cousins from one aunt that hardcore went to Catholic school, and I mean we're hardcore. That's the way that they were raised, and that's how they were taught. If that was the same thing from a Judaism, from a Muslim, from what you insert whatever religion that is into their life, you can't help your upbringing. And so are they going to not go to heaven because they believe in Catholicism? And a Muslim's going to say, you're never going to be accepted by Allah. And the same thing happens on the flip side of, oh, Allah is wrong. And what about Hinduism? And what about the Buddha people over here meditating that are amazing human beings? Is God gonna look at them and be like, yeah, you treated everyone right and with love and respect, and you were such a kind person in your life, but you know what? I'm gonna pull this lever right now, and you're gonna spend the rest of your eternity burning in hell. Eternity as a soul. Because even though God loves you more than anything in the world. So and I'm sure I rattle cages with this type of talk, and I try to be sensitive towards everyone's religions and beliefs, and that's where I am. I'm not saying that you're right and I'm wrong. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to open up your eyes to the fact that you're not just right, and neither am I. And the more that we understand that and accept people and treat others well, that's what God wants. That's what Jesus wants. You think Jesus wants you standing there telling people that you're gonna burn in hell if you don't blah blah blah? No. He would much rather have you tell people how God loves you and how good a person you are, and the better you treat others, and the more that you're going to be celebrated. And again, after 500 near-death experiences, and when people had life reviews, one of the overarching premises that was just out of 500 NDEs, I probably heard 350 to 400 life reviews. And in their life review, they said the same thing, is that they were never being judged. They were their hardest critic, and that they would be able to experience what they portrayed onto somebody. So one story was when a man was in the 5th grade and he was picking on a kid with a stutter. And he goes, I saw this image of this young man in my life he goes, and it was exactly the moment when we were however years old, 11 years old in the 5th grade, and I was making fun of this kid. He goes, and then I felt how I made him feel. And that right there is something that held true across all the life reviews. They said that they felt the way that they made others feel, good and bad. So when they did an incredible thing, I mean, hold the door open for somebody, be kind to somebody, said, just saying thank you, making somebody feel special. Those little things are celebrated on the other side, and they make people feel incredible. And on the flip side, when you treat people poorly and you treat people wrong, it affects them and it affects you even worse. And what this man said was, not only did he feel the way that this little boy felt when he was making fun of him for the stutter, but then God allowed him in his life review to watch this young man go home and interact with his parents, and how sad his parents were because the boy was explaining why he was sad, and his parents were so sad and hurt, and this man felt that. And he felt the pain that he inflicted on this young man and his family, and the ripple effects of how you treat others matters. And take that to the bank. Take that to the spiritual bank, is how you treat others matters in life. And how you spread the love that you have in your heart to the outside world. That's what matters. That's what God in Christ wants. You could not go to church for every Sunday of your life, and if you have love in your heart and you treat others well and you make it a point to spread love to the world and treat others right, you are going to be you're going to be open arms by the angels and the God of heaven, of like, you figured it out. It's not about stating that I'm this individual religious belief. It's about saying that I'm this individual child of God that is filled with love, and to spread that love to the world. That's what it is. And I wish that we'd be able to, in today's society, get past this point of my way's right, your way's wrong, and really start focusing on what the true meaning of this life is. And that's where I revert back to where I'm at in my life today, is the best version of myself. And I live under the teachings of how Jesus lived his life. The closer I live my life to God in Christ, the better my life is. And I say God in Christ, it's again, insert what the teachings of other religions are of the same thing. Treat others right. Have love in your heart. Be a good person. The mind, body, and spirit triangle of what I'm putting in my mind. What am I watching? I told you, I don't watch porn anymore. I don't watch violent stuff. I'm not inundating myself with just horrible things every night, with the bad news, or all of these different aspects of negativity, or and what I put in my body and how I treat myself, and exercising, and my diet, and my spirituality, my spiritual muscle, and how I'm connecting with my entities and my God and Christ every day, and praying and meditating, and finding that, strengthening that spiritual muscle, because they're all muscles. Your brain's a muscle, your body's a muscle, your spirit's a muscle, and you got to work them out. You got to strengthen them. And when you do those things and you focus on the power triangle of the mind, body, and spirit, your whole life becomes better. Because if you only do one, oh yeah, I'm a gym rat. Oh yeah, every day I'm in the gym. But then I watch porn every day, and I don't have a relationship with God, and I live a shallow life. Well, you're missing it. And you take out one of the three, take out two of the three, it doesn't matter. You're never going to be the best version of yourself unless you're truly connecting that power triangle. And for those that are on the radio, you're not seeing, but I'm drawing an amazing isosceles triangle right now. Those are 90-degree angles, each one of those. I'm just telling you. So, yeah, it is so important that we're living our life in this way. And when you find your calling and you find your purpose in life, the doors that open up for you are unbelievable. And at 48, if you were to tell me that I could be a full-time doctoral student and building a business and be able to survive and take care of my family, I would have told, no way. There's just no way. It's not financially feasible. Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm doing it. And the pathways and the doors that are opening up for me because of that, I'd never even imagine. No, I'd be like, wouldn't have thought of that. And that's what happens when you live your life with purpose, and you live your life when you find your authentic self. It's incredible. And along with that authentic self, this is another point that I want to make. A couple points off of this is that number one, you can change. People can change. Um, I love the analogy that I had with can a tiger change its stripes? And the answer is yes and no, because it's just like an alcoholic, to where an alcoholic can be a certain way when they're drinking, and they could have drank for 25 years and been a raging alcoholic and been crappy to people and all the things that go along with being an alcoholic, all the negatives. They shut down the bottle and they change their entire life, and they are a completely different person when they're sober without alcohol in their life. Uh, they can go 5, 10 years like that. Doesn't matter. They get back on that bottle, they're going to revert back to the same person. So did they change during that time? Absolutely. Is that same person still existing as the alcoholic? Absolutely. So yes, you can change, but it takes commitment, and it takes daily commitment, and it's a grind, and it's hard. And it means that you've got to be committed to who you want to be on a daily basis. And that's where how I am every single day, the choices that I'm making. Yes, could I go back to partying? Could I go back to smoking pot? Could I go back to drinking? Could I go back to watching porn? Absolutely. All of those things I could go back to and fall right back in to OJ. That's my nickname that I came up with when I was growing up, and I came up and everyone called me OJ. Um, my God-given name is Orion, and my stoicism, who I am, is Orion. And I know that there's people that I grew up with. I know that I know that my ex-wife would look at me and say, "You can never change. OJ, you're a certain way, and you'll always be that way." And that's where I love the line that where other people put a period, God put a comma. He said, "This is who you were, comma, and this is who you're gonna be." And that is an incredibly powerful statement right there. And if you're out there and you're trying to say to yourself, "But this is who I am, and I don't think I can change," yes, you can. You can change. It's hard, but you've got to figure out what you want to change for. It's got to be for you. Your why, your purpose, what is going on, and that falls back to the accountability mirror. And this is everything that I'm teaching in my business to the workshops and the motivational speeches and the one-on-one coaching. These are all the things that I'm teaching in my sessions. Came out a little of to change. It has to, and to long-term change, you have to be committed for yourself, and you have to do it for yourself to become the best version of yourself, to find your purpose, to find your why. But when you do that, and you make that change for yourself, and you're committed towards that, and you go down that pathway, and you're like, oh, number one, I can change, and number two, the doorways for me to change open up incredibly. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that could happen right there. And when you start living your life with your purpose, it's just, again, the better I live my life, the better my life is. And it's so important to understand that if you're out there and you're like, I'm not happy, and I don't feel fulfilled, and I feel like I feel empty, and I'm going to the same job, and I'm living this life, and I'm not happy with. There's something more for me. I don't care how old you are. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm 48. I don't know what 48 is supposed to feel like. I don't feel 48. I don't know what that's supposed to be like, but um, here I am making this massive change in my life, and getting my doctorate degree. My doctorate degree. You're talking about a guy who, if it would have been for baseball, I never would have gone to college. And here I am getting my doctorate degree. And here I am building a business to be able to look people in the eye and tell them this is how you become the best version of you. And my second point, because I always weave everything back in, I always come back to where I was going with things. And so not only is change possible, but here's what's going to happen also is when you change, is that those who know you, like I said, they're going to want to put a period. They're going to say to you, you're not being real. You are not, you are fake. And that this is the challenge of change. This is the hard part of change, is that I am now my true authentic self. I was fake before in my life, but because I spent so many years that way, that's how people perceive me, as my authentic self. So now that I have found my true north, like little plug right there, now that I have found my true north pathway of who I truly am, those others are saying, you're not real. This is fake. This is an act. This is just another time in your life that you're going to act a certain way for people to like you or to do a certain thing, or that this will all fade away. And at the end of the day, OJ will be back. And that's funny that I say OJ will be back. No, he's dead. He died. OJ died on both a metaphorical level and from OJ Simpson. And he's not coming back. And this, I can look myself in the mirror and know that I am my authentic self now. And that is what true change is. When the people that know you the most can cut you the deepest. And I'll say that again, because it's the people that know you the most can say the most cruel things to you, because they know what's going to hurt and they know what's going to cut you the deepest. And when that person in my life said to me, you're fake, you're not this person, you'll never be this person, I was able to look at, I'll say the person, not put a gender behind it. You could probably figure out, but and go, cool. That doesn't bother me a bit. For the first time, that didn't hurt, because I was able to look in the mirror and go, yeah, I know the work that I put in. I know what I do every single day. Every single day, I'm the same way. I do the same thing. I don't drink, so I feel the same way mentally that I did today, that I did yesterday. I don't smoke anymore. I'm clean. I pray. I meditate. I work my butt off. I'm building this business. I'm positive. I spread love to the world. My only intention in life is to live my life with joy and happiness and laughter and purpose, and to be the best father that I can be, to be the best partner that I can be, to be the best community member that I can be, to give back, to love life. And I am. And I live it every single day. So when I hear that now, it doesn't hurt anymore. But before, when I was living a fake life and I would try to do something and somebody would call me out, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I'm a chameleon. I'm just trying to fit in. And that was me. And that was me, to where, oh, you like MMA? I like MMA. Oh, you like boxing? I like boxing. Oh, you like water polo? What? Let's go get some horses and go do some water polo. Oh, wait, there's no horses. Wait, whatever. I love water polo. I've done it. Oh, yeah. My favorite sport ever. Oh, yeah. And I'll be the first to admit, that was me. Raise my hand, because I wanted to be liked and I wanted to be accepted. And so if you were wearing a flannel and you wanted chainsaws in Copenhagen, by God, I can go get my chainsaw in Copenhagen and put on my flannel. You want to go be preppy and wear our Tommy Hilfiger shirts and go to our frat party, by God, let's do that too, because that can be me too. And that was my greatest gift and my biggest demon. And when I looked in that mirror after going down my journey and hitting rock bottom, that was one of the things that I had to come to terms with, is that I was shallow. I was fake. I did use people. I did it wasn't me. That wasn't who I was. I thought it was, but I was who my environment was. And when you look down that, when you look down that pathway of your life and you see who you truly are, I don't know how to capture it. It's sickening. It's sickening for you. But unless you do it as part of your growth, you'll never grow. Unless you go through that pain and you go through that accountability pain of looking at yourself and saying, I see it. I get it. I get these things. And I always knew it in the back of my head. And I was like, wow, actually, they don't like me that much. They're seeing through me. And if you looked at my resume, it was every, couple of years I'd leave a job, or, it was always and it was because I always knew, oh, I think they're figuring me out. I think, oh, The new car shine's wearing off, and now true, time doesn't develop character, it reveals it. And if I keep staying here, then they're gonna really know me, and if they really know me, they're not gonna like me, because I gotta go. And it was this constant change, because i'm a I'm lights out when you first meet me. I am great. I'm a great new employee. I'm a great, friend, all these things when we're first hanging out and we're first starting, all those things. Yep. But my worry was always, ooh, but if they get to know me, they're not going to like me. If they know me, then they won't like me. And I'll bet you a dime to a dollar that says that I am not the only one out there that's ever felt that way in their life. And that's why I'm here now, is to be able to admit that. So then, if there's one person out there, one of you, one person out there with their ears on that can say, yes, that I needed to hear that. I needed to understand that I'm not alone in that feeling, and that it's okay. It don't be so hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's okay. Learn it, realize it, come to terms with it, and then figure out how you're going to move on. Because when you do that and you forgive yourself, and that's where my 4 pillars of forgiveness, gratitude, love, and faith, that forgiveness is first, and forgiving yourself first. You have to forgive yourself first to love yourself, to be able to make the change, to be able to make that long-term change in yourself. You have to look yourself in the mirror and go, I forgive you. I forgive you because I've already looked into the accountability mirror and seen all the dirt, seen all the garbage, seen all the crap, and I've come to terms with it. And I forgive you for it. And I still love you. And when I can look in the mirror and I can say, I love you, Orion Jones. I love you. The person you are is an incredible man. And yes, you have a checkered past of sin and of treating others in a bad way at times, and of not being a good husband, and not being. I was always a good father. I don't think I've failed in that. I can be cocky about that, but not if I'm not the best version of myself, then I'm not the best father. So I'll put it that way. Um, but truly being able to say that this is all the dirt, and guess what though? A plant needs dirt to grow. And you weren't buried, you were planted. Without dirt, you're never going to grow. There's nothing that grows without dirt. Every one of us has dirt on us. Don't pick up that stone. Those who live without sin, pick up that stone and chuck it. Those who live in glass houses, yeah, love that line from the Bible. Yeah, those who live without sin can cast the first stone. All of you have dirt. All of you out there have dirt. I got it. None of us are perfect. And when you're okay with that and you come to terms with that and you go, yeah, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to realize my imperfections, and I'm going to build from them, and I'm going to change them, and I'm going to get better at them. And I'm going to say, this is the things that is wrong with me. And I'm going to work towards change, because change is possible. Change is possible, but it takes discipline and accountability. And those are words that you can say, but unless you live them, and unless you incorporate those things into your life on a daily basis, you'll never truly change. And it's hard. But the better I live my life, the better my life is. And I love the other saying of, when you do things that are hard, the easier life is. And you're like, wait, what? Let me repeat that. Do things that are hard in life, and the easier your life will be. What? What does that mean? Think about it. How hard is it to exercise? It's hard. It's hard to get up. It's hard. Human beings want to be lazy. How hard is it to be sick? How hard is it to be out of shape? How hard is it to be overweight? Whew, that's hard. How hard is it to have a strong spiritual connection and pray and meditate and, do all those things? It's hard. But how incredible is it? How hard is it to do things that you don't want to do? Get up early, work out, eat right, be a man of God, take care of yourself spiritually, the power triangle. How hard is it? It's hard. But it makes my life incredible. And that's what I want the message for everyone to understand, is that when you do things that are hard, your life becomes easier. Life will never be easy. It's freaking hard. I mean, we're adults, we're human, we have emotions. It's sometimes it kicks you in the butt, but 99% of my life is incredible. And I choose to look at it for like that. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And I wake up every single day and I thank God for everything. The littlest things, 10 and 10. I got 5 fingers on this hand. Look at that. I got 5 fingers on that hand too. Thanks God. Not everyone does. I can walk, I can see, I can breathe. I slept in a bed last night. I ate. I don't even know you, and I can tell you 15 or 20 things that you could be grateful for right now. And when you start looking at your life and say, God, things are so amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Instead of looking at the negatives, oh, again, that's how you start embracing change and embracing how, the amazing things of life. And you stop that complaining and it's just so hard all the time. I know it is. And sometimes it is. And sometimes it's okay to be weak and to need that shoulder and to need to just vent and be human and be angry. And I go through it too. I'm not perfect by any means. But if you find yourself always complaining and always having something negative to say and gossiping and, oh, did you see what Sally said? If you find yourself as that person and living in that negative blanket, you'll never become the best version of yourself. And that, it's an ugly world. It's an ugly, dirty blanket to waller in of negativity, of lack of gratefulness, of lack of gratitude, of always looking at, oh my God, and then I'll never win this, and this never happens to me, and it always, oh yeah, no surprise that I stubbed my toe, no surprise that I didn't win the lottery. I never win. I never do these things. Look, you keep looking at life that way, yeah, it does suck. It is hard. Yeah, you'll never be great. You'll never do the things that you want to do in life if that's your attitude. And here's one more that, as we're winding down this top of the hour, here's one more. Show me your friends, and I will show you your future. Again, show me your friends, and I will show you your future. You hang out with 5 people that are negative, that complain all the time, that are lazy. Guess who the 6th person will be? You hang out with 5 people that are positive, that are motivated, that have a strong spiritual muscle, that want you to be the best, that want accountability, all these things. Guess who the 6th person is going to be? And you hang out with the right people and you put the right people in your life on a daily basis. It's contagious. And you need to add to that contagion of who you are. And the people that are in my life, my circle is small now, but they get accountability out of me. They get character out of me. They get discipline out of me. They get honesty out of me. They get a person that they know what they're going to get every single day out of me. And not just that fun partier, not just that fun OJ. We love hanging out with him because he's drinking and smoking and laughing and making jokes. And yeah, that's great for a night. I'm a blast on a Friday night. I am an absolute hoot, dancing, joking. You get alcohol and drugs in me, I am freaking hilarious. And I can say that with an honest 100%. That's one night. What that does for me for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year, for the rest of my life is garbage. Garbage. And so I'm sacrificing, I love the statement. I'm going to end you with this statement, is that with drugs and alcohol, is that I sacrifice everything in my life for one thing. And then I sacrifice one thing for everything. Meaning that I gave up one thing in my life, or 2 things, and maybe 3 things. Maybe if you start going porn and pot and alcohol, but let's just call them one thing of the vices. And I got everything back. But I give up everything for those things right there, and I lose it all. And I go right back. So that was heavy. That was deep. And let's raise up our spirits a little bit more here at the top of the hour here as we're closing this out. I love you guys. I truly do. I have love in my heart, and I want to spread it with the world. And I want you guys to understand that what I'm trying to do is to make people the best versions of themselves. and I'm a fractured, sinful, lusting, all of the check marks of the negative human things, traits I have lived. And that's why God put me through what he put me through. That's because he knew that the way that he built me at to right here at 48 is to connect with you all out there, is to take the way that I was and be like, yeah, I hear you. I'm the same way. And here's how you can be better. And here's how you can live your best life. And here's how you can create the best version of you. And here's how you can take the dirt that you have on top of you and grow and grow and use it as nutrients and use it as building yourself up from that dirt and growing from that dirt and driving those roots down into the dirt and being like, yeah, that's part of my past, that's part of who I am, but that's not who I am. I'm going to use that as fuel and how to build and how to grow. So yeah, love you guys out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this hour of power. We're going to finish it off here, and you're here on 88.3 WFLC, and I'm going to end it with the Women's Resource Center here in Hancock County. It's an amazing organization. My computer died silent on me over here, so I'm just going to let you guys know that if you have not supported the WRC, do so. It's an incredible organization here in Findlay. They do incredible things. There's incredible people over there. And this plug is way more than me just reading it from the Excel program right there. The Women's Resource Center in Findlay and the people that work there and what they do for this community is absolutely incredible. You wouldn't remember the website if I told you anyway, so I'm not going to. It's www.womensresourcecenter.com. You Google it like anyone else would, and if you need it, reach out and if you ever need them, they're there for you. And if you want to support an organization, support the WRC. It's incredible. There's so many incredible ones. That's definitely one of the top ones, and the people out there. So love you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and peace out. All right, later. I don't know how to end that. Whatever. You guys will just have to watch me for a second more till I can figure it out. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Yep. And